Perfect. Okay, so we're in our standing position, and we'll start with our marches to warm up our body. So opposite arm and leg will be going up. Perfect. Yep. Good. Check in with your posture. Make sure your shoulders are backing down and your core is engaged the whole time. Good. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Nice job. Perfect. We'll go a few more here. 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Perfect. And then we'll put arms parallel out at our sides, and we'll start with those arm circles. So circling the arms. Perfect. 3. Good. And then switch directions of the circles. Perfect. And then we'll bend the arms and reach up towards the sky. So reaching up overhead. Good. And then back down to that starting position. Perfect. Up and down. Good. Keep going. Good. Reach up as high as you can overhead. Good. 5. Good. 5 more of these. We'll go 5 and 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's great. Perfect. And then right back to marches. Back to marches. Yep. Good. Keep going. About 10 more. 9. Good. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. And then arm circles. This time a little bit bigger with the arm circles. A little bit bigger. Good. And switch the directions. And 1. Good. And then bending the arms and reaching up overhead for reaches. Reaching up. Good. And back down. 2. Good. Keep going. And 10. Perfect. And then we'll go one more round through these. Back to our marches again. Opposite arm and leg. Good. Keeping our core engaged. And we'll go 10. Good. 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. And then back to our arm circles, and even bigger with the arm circles this time. Bigger circles. And good. And switch directions. Other direction. Good. And 10. Perfect. And then we'll go those overhead reaches again, reaching up overhead and back down. Good. So try to reach right up over your ears. 4. Good. 8. Good. 2 more. 2 and 1. Perfect. Good. Now we're going to go into side shuffles. So you'll have a slight bend in your legs, and then you'll take one step to the side and one step to the other side. So just back and forth. And if it's feeling easy, just bend your legs even more. So stepping side to side. Yep, one step, good. And bend the legs more if it feels easy, getting even lower. Make sure your knees are staying in line with your feet. And your feet are pointed straight ahead. Good. Good posture, shoulders back and down, ribs down, belly button pulling in. Good. Keep going. We'll go 5 and 4, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. And then we're going to go standing rows today. So you're going to bring the hands out right in front of your chest, and then you're going to pull the elbows back to open up the chest. Good. And then reach forward again. Perfect. 2, 3. Good. Really squeezing the chest open as you pull the elbows back and then reaching forward. Good. Good. Focus on squeezing the shoulder blades back and keeping the shoulders down away from the ears. You should feel your upper back muscles working a lot for this one. Core engaged, ribs down. We'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. Good. Now we're going to go into those YTAs that we did last time. So you're going to slightly bend at the waist, and we're going to start with the hands together out in front of the chest, and then you're going to raise the arms kind of out at a Y position so that they're up towards the ceiling. So arms straight up into a Y, good, and then back down in front of your chest. Good, and then T, so where they're just parallel with the floor. Good, T, and then back together at the chest, and then one more where your arms are kind of down towards the ground in an A position. A, perfect, and then back to your chest, back to the Y, up, Y, good, back to your chest, T, good, back to the chest, and A, perfect. Chest, Y, and T, and A. That's perfect. Keep going with those. Up to a Y, T, and A. Good. We'll go 2 more with these. Y, T, and A. Good. And last one, Y, back to chest, T, and A. Perfect. Good. Relax down. We're going to go back to the side shuffles. So bending the legs again and stepping side to side. Core engaged, ribs pulling down, shoulders back. So taking 1 step to one side, 1 step to the other side. Good. And if it feels easy, just get a little lower with the legs. So bend the legs even more to get lower. Good. Using your legs, using your glutes. Keep the feet facing forward, knees in line with the feet. Good. Keep stepping side to side. 1 step, 1 step. Good. Keep going. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. And then back up to standing, we'll go those rows again. So arms are going to be out in front of your chest, and then you're going to squeeze the elbows and shoulders back as you pull back to a row. Yep. So elbows will be bent at the row, and your hands are still going to stay up high. You're just kind of squeezing the shoulders back and the elbows back. Good. Keep going. 6. Good. 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great job. Perfect. And then we're going back to the YTAs. So slight bend in the waist, and then starting with the hands together at the chest, up into a Y where your arms are up overhead. Yep. And we're going to try to keep the arms straight the whole time, back to the chest, and then open up to a T where they're parallel with the floor. And then Yep, and then back to your chest, and then an A at the bottom. So arms are going to be, yep, but still keep the chest open on the A. There you go. Yep. Back to center, and just keep going Y, T, A. So up to a Y, good, T, and A, good. So make sure your arms are going together at the chest before you go to the next one. So Y, and then back to the in front of your chest, and then T, good, back in front of your chest, and then A, good. And then trying to keep the arms straight the whole time. So yep, and then up to the Y, good. Back to chest, good, and then open up T, good, and then A. Perfect. Nice job, you guys. Keep going. Good. We'll go one more cycle through these. Y, back to the chest, T, back to the chest, and A. Perfect. Good. And then we'll go back to the side shuffles again. So bending the legs, and stepping side to side. Good. Side to side. Stay low with the legs. Should feel a lot of legs with this one. Good. Keep going. We'll go 5 and 4, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. Good. And then back to the rows. So arms straight out in front of your chest, and then pulling them back as you row. And so pull the arms back. Good. And then reach forward. Good. Nice and slow and fluid with this. Good. Opening up the chest and then reach forward. So pretend you're like holding on to a stick and your arms are staying in the same spot and you're just pulling it back towards your chest. There you go. Good, we'll go 3 more. And 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. And then last set on YTAs. So slight bend in the waist, hands straight out in front of your chest, and then reach up to that Y, arms straight, and then back to your chest, open up to a T, T, back to the chest, and then open up to an A. A, perfect. And keep going with those. Y, back to the chest, T, back to the chest, and A. Good. Keep going. Nice job. Keep going. Okay, good. Okay, perfect. And we'll go one more cycle through these. Back to Y, then T, and then A. Wonderful. Perfect. If you need any water, you can definitely grab some water. And then we'll be grabbing a chair if we have one close by. Okay. I can't see everyone, but I'll assume that we're with a chair. So starting in our seated position, we'll go through our squats. So feet are going to be about hip width apart. Make sure you have good contact with the ground. And then knees in line with the feet. And we're going to make sure that we have a nice tall spine. So we're sitting up nice and tall with our shoulders back. We're going to lean forward slightly, and then we're going to use our legs and our glutes to stand all the way up to a standing position. So we'll stand all the way up. Good. And then slowly sit all the way back down to the chair. Good. And then all the way back up again. Good. And sit the hips back. Good. Make sure you're keeping a nice spine position the whole time. You're sitting up nice and tall. Good posture. Good. Keep going. Shoulders back and down. Core engaged. And keep going. Four, three, two, and one. Great job. We'll go back to a seated position. Good. So we're going to do a new exercise. This is something that would be kind of prepping us in a way to use like some small weights. So we're going to be sitting up nice and tall in our chair. Arms are going to be right by our sides, so kind of down by our sides. And then we're going to curl our arms towards our shoulders. So bending at the elbows, your arms are just going to go to your shoulders. And then from there, you're going to reach up overhead, right up over your ears. Good. And then we're going to go back down and then uncurl the arms. Perfect. So we're doing a bicep curl to an overhead press. So we're going to curl back to our shoulders, and then we're going to reach up overhead. Good. And then arms back down, and then uncurl the arms. Perfect. And curl, and then press. Good. And uncurl. Good. Keep going with these. Bicep curl, overhead press, back down. Good. Bicep curl, overhead press. Perfect. Back down. 4 more. Bicep curl, overhead press. Down. Bicep curl, overhead press. And back down. 3 more. Overhead press. Back down. Bicep curl, overhead press. And back down. Last one. Bicep curl, overhead press, and back down. Perfect. All right, now we will go back to the squats again. So make sure our feet in a good position. Then we're going to go all the way up to standing using our legs. Good. Nice and slow on the way back down, sitting back to the chair. So sitting your hips back and then standing back up. Good. Keep going with these ones. So these ones we want to progress to the point where we're not sitting all the way down to our chair. We're just kind of barely touching the chair and then going right back up. Good. Yep. So the more that we just barely touch the chair, a little bit more work on the legs. That's good. I still want to touch the chair, but we'll go 5 and 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's great. Good. All right. Now we'll go back to bicep curl to overhead press. Notice a couple of people have weights, so that's great. I love that. So yeah, we'll start with the bicep curl first. So curling from the elbows, arms coming up to the shoulders, and then pressing up overhead. Perfect. And back down. Good. Curl and then press. Back down. Good. Make sure we're sitting up nice and tall with these ones. Really good posture. Bicep curl, overhead press, and back down. Bicep curl, overhead press. Good. 4 more. Bicep curl, overhead press. Good. Bicep curl, overhead press. Good, 2 more. Bicep curl, press. Perfect, and last one. That's great, perfect. And then we'll go back to the squats. Yep, so feet in a good position, knees in line. Good, make sure that your knees aren't wobbling too much, so they're staying in a really strong position where they're staying in place. Good, keeping the knees in line with the feet. Good. Yep, and just barely touching down to the chair if we can. Good, really focusing on using our legs. Good, 2 more. 2 and 1, perfect. All right, we'll go back to the bicep curl overhead press. Good, so arms are straight down and then curling from the elbows, arms to the shoulders, and then up overhead. Good, and back down. Bicep curl overhead press. Bicep curl overhead press. Bicep curl overhead press. Good, 5 more with these. Bicep curl overhead press. Bicep curl and press. Bicep curl. Good, 2 more. Good, and last one. Perfect, that's great. Awesome. Go ahead and grab some water if you guys would like any. And then we'll go into some new exercises. Right, this is also going to be another new exercise. So bear with me a little bit while I'm explaining this one. It's kind of an interesting one. But we're going to be up in a standing position. And in our you can keep the chair nearby if you feel like you'll need it for any balance, but otherwise, I think you guys will probably be fine. I don't really think that you guys will need it, but if you think that you do, you can. And what we're gonna do is in our standing position, we're gonna get into a staggered stance. So we're gonna have 1 foot forward by quite a bit. You're kind of gonna take a pretty big step forward, a foot, good. And then we're gonna put about 80% of our weight into that front leg. So we're gonna bend that front leg a little bit, good, and then put 80% of our weight into that front leg, good. Now with the back leg, what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of get up on the toes on the back foot. So you're kind of pressing into the floor through the ball of the foot on that. So your heel is kind of up towards the ceiling with that back foot. Heel is up towards the ceiling with the back foot. Good. And make sure that your feet are facing forward, that they're both straight. They're both facing straight forward and your hips are forward. So the back foot, we're going to raise that heel so it's up, pointed up towards the ceiling. So the heel is way up on that back foot. Good. Front foot and front leg, we're putting 80% of our weight. Now from this position, what we're going to do is we're going to keep our spine nice and long and standing up really tall, shoulders back and down. And we're going to bend from the hips, kind of bending forward. So you're bending towards that front leg. So you're going to let your upper body bend forward just a few inches, and then we're going to arch it back and go back up to a full position. Good. So we're just and you're going to stay on that front leg. So we're going to stay on this front leg for the whole time, and we're just going to hinge the hips. So we're going to lean the upper body forward, and then we're going to lean back up. Good. And so what we're trying to do here is we're trying to activate this front glute, and use this front leg. So we're going to keep just hinging forward and then hinging back up to a normal position. So imagine that your legs are staying in the same position the whole time, which is kind of this like bent position. And then you're just moving your upper torso. So you're just folding your upper torso forward and then folding back up to straight. Good. We'll go like 3 more on this side. So just the torso is moving. 2 and 1. Good. Now we're going to switch our feet. So same thing, other foot's going to be forward. You're bending this front leg, and then both feet are going to be facing facing forward. So make sure both feet are facing forward, and then the back foot heel is up towards the ceiling. Good. 80% of our weight is through this front leg, and then we're going to hinge from the hip. So we're kind of bending down with the torso, and then we're coming back up. So we're going to keep that front leg bent. So we're not moving the front leg at all. That front leg is going to be bent, and we're just hinging our body from that hip. Yep, so leaning forward and then hinging back up. So leaning forward and then up. Good. 4 more. 4 and 3, 2, good. 1 more. And 1. Great job. Perfect. Go back to a standing, just neutral position. Sorry, you guys, that's like a really interesting exercise to kind of explain, but you guys are doing good with it. It's really, really good for posture and balance. If you have weights, you can grab weights for this one again, but if you don't have weights, just use body weight. That's totally fine. All right, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with our arms just right by our sides, and we're gonna keep our arms straight and reach them up to a parallel position like we would for our arm circles, and then just relax them back down. So arms are gonna come up to a parallel position and then relax back down. Good, and back up and down. Good. So with this one, it's really important to stand up nice and tall, keep the shoulders back and down. And core engaged. Good. So reaching up and back down. We'll go 5 more. 5 and 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's great. Good. Now another one, we're going to kind of bend from the waist. So make sure your feet are nice and wide, and you're going to kind of lean down with the waist, but make sure you're hinging from the hips. So you're just kind of sitting your hips back, and then we're going to bend the elbows. You're going to bend the elbows, and then you're going to straighten them straight back. So yep, this is going to be, it's a tricep extension. So you're kind of leaning forward with the upper body. Arms are bent at a like almost 90 degree, and then you're going to straighten them straight back towards the wall. Straighten them straight back towards the wall and squeeze the back of your arms. Good. And then back to that bent position, and then squeeze the arms straight back towards the wall. Good. So your body is staying in the same position for this one, and just the arms are moving. You're just focusing on moving the arms. So arms are bent, and then you're squeezing them straight back towards the wall. Squeeze, and yep, just straighten them. Just straighten them. Good. And keep the elbows by the sides the whole time. You don't want those elbows moving. You just want the forearms to be moving. So arms are bent, and then just squeezing them straight. And then keep the weights, if you have any weights, keep the weights in the same direction the whole time. You don't want to twist them in any way. You just want them to go straight back. Perfect. Yep. And then squeeze them back again. Perfect. We'll go like 3 more of these. And just focusing on squeezing the back of the arms. So when your arms are straight all the way, you should feel a squeeze in the back of your arms, your triceps. 2. Good. 1 more. And 1. Great job. Perfect. And we can put the weights back down if you have weights. Perfect. And we're going to go back to that first exercise. It's kind of a little weird and confusing, but you're going to take a big step forward with the leg. both feet are facing forward, and the back leg or back foot, the heel is going to be up towards the ceiling. Perfect. 80% of our weight is in this bent front leg. And we're going to get kind of a little lower with this one. So bend the leg a little bit more. Good. And then with the upper body, we're going to start where we're all the way up. So our torso is all the way up like we're standing up tall. And then we're going to bend the torso forward towards that front leg. Good. Keeping a nice long position. Good. And then all the way back up to like a standing position. Perfect. And then just hinging from this hip. Good. Forward again. And then back up. Good. Keeping that front leg bent the whole time and your spine nice and long. Back up. Good. And focus on squeezing this front leg, the front glute specifically. So you're like loading this glute as you're hinging your hips forward, and then you're squeezing it as you're standing up. Good. Keep 80% of your weight through this front leg. Good. We'll go a few more and keep focusing on the glute. That front glute. 2. Good. Let's go one more with this. And 1. Great job. And we're going to switch our legs. So other leg's going to be forward. And you're bending the front leg and leaning into it. 80% of your weight's through this front leg. Both feet are facing forward. Back heel is up off the ground and up towards the ceiling. Good. And now we're hinging the hips forward, loading this front glute, and then all the way back up. Good. Hinge forward and then squeeze back up. Perfect. Hinge forward and squeeze up. Hinge forward and squeeze up. Good. Keep going. We'll go 4 more. 4 and 3. Good. 2 more. 2 and 1. Great job. Perfect. We'll grab the weights again and we'll go those lateral raises. So that's where we're standing up nice and tall. Arms are just rested by our sides, and then keeping our arms pretty straight, just slight bend in the elbows. We'll reach up toward to the parallel position with the floor, like we would for our arm circles. Perfect. All the way up to parallel, and then drop back down. Good. Up to parallel and back down. Perfect. 2. Good. Check in with your core position. Make sure your ribs are pulling down, belly button's pulling in. Good. We'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's great. Now we'll go our tricep extensions. So bending from the waist, keeping your chest nice and open, just kind of hinging from the hips. Arms are going to be bent with the elbows right by your sides, and then you're going to squeeze your arms just straight back. Good. Yep. And then back up again. Perfect. So bending and then just squeezing them straight back and keeping your elbows just right by your sides and chest open a little bit. So you're pulling your shoulders back, chest open. Good. And then really focusing on when you straighten your arms straight back, squeezing the backs of your arms. So squeezing that tricep area. Good. We'll go 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great job. Perfect. We'll drop the weights down, and then we'll just go one more round through those 3 exercises. All right, so first one, that's where we're taking a huge step forward. 80% of our weight's through this front leg. Front leg is bent. And then back foot, the heel is up off the ground and up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to hinge from the hips with the upper body, hinging down and then squeezing the glute as we come back up to a neutral position. Perfect. And then hinge back down, squeeze that glute as we hinge back up. Perfect. And the whole time, try to think about keeping 80% of the weight in that front leg, keeping that leg bent so your leg shouldn't be moving very much. And just focusing on hinging with that hip and squeezing the glute. Good. 3 more. 3, 2, good, 1 more, and 1, perfect. And switching to the other leg, big step forward, bending the front leg, both feet facing forward, back heel is up off the ground, and then hinging from the hip and back up to neutral position. Good, hinge from the hip and back up, good. Focusing on using that front glute. Good, keep going. We'll go 4 more, keeping that front leg bent, so the knees bent. Good, and 80% of the weight's through that front leg the whole time. Shouldn't feel a lot of weight in the back leg. Almost all of it through the front. Good, 1 more. And 1, great. All right, we'll grab the weights again and we'll go those lateral raises. Good, so yep, hands are right by the side, and then keeping the arms straight, you'll come up to a parallel position and back down. Yep. And perfect, we'll go 2 more with these. 2, and 1, that's great. Perfect. All right, now we're going the tricep extensions. So bending from the hips slightly, elbows bent, and then squeezing the arms straight back towards the back wall. Good. So you're going from arms bent to arms straight and keeping the elbows right by your sides. Elbows are right by the sides the whole time. Shoulders are back and down, chest is nice and open, and squeezing the back of the arms. Good, 5 more with these. 5. Good, 2 more. 2. And 1. That's great. Great job, you guys. Go ahead and grab some water if you want any, and then we'll be going to the mat. We'll also be using the band that we have. You definitely use the lighter band. I'll stick with the light resistance. And then we'll be going to the mat, and first one that we'll be doing is bird dog. So that's when we're in the tabletop position. You won't need the band on yet, just keep it close by. So we're in that tabletop position, hands and knees. Hands are right under the shoulders and knees are right under the hips. And then we're going opposite arm and leg extending out away from each other, and alternating each time. So make sure we're keeping our core engaged, belly button pulling into the spine, and opposite arm and leg extend out, and then switch sides to the other side. Perfect. That's great. 3. Good, 2 more each. And 8, that's great, perfect. All right, now we'll grab the band, and we'll put the band on right above the knees, and we'll start with our clamshells. So on our side, lifting the top knee up towards the ceiling. Yep. So we'll be over on our side, hips stacked right on top of each other, knees on top of each other, feet on top of each other. And then the top knees just driving up towards the ceiling, keeping the feet stacked on top of each other. Good. Focusing on activating that top glute, the cider glute. 8. Good. We'll go 2 more. 2 and 1. Good. And we'll flip over to the other side. Over to the other side. And then lifting that top knee up. Good. And go ahead and relax the upper body all the way down. So upper body can be relaxed down on the ground. Oh, I'm realizing, Tom, your rib might be on that side. Good. We'll go 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. All right. We'll be on our backs now, and we'll go glute bridges. Yep. So feet about hip width apart, knees in line with the feet, and then driving the hips up towards the ceiling by squeezing the glutes and keeping the ribs down, belly button pulling in. Good. So we'll squeeze the glutes all the way up and then go all the way back down to the ground. Good. Squeeze all the way up and all the way down. Good. Keep going with these. All the way down, all the way up, and all the way down. We'll go 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2. Good. 1 more and 1. Perfect. Great. Okay, we'll take the band off again. And we'll go dead bugs. So on our backs, legs are going to be up at a 90-degree position. Arms up to the ceiling, and then we're just going to drop one heel down to the floor and pull it back up and then switch. Yep, alternating. Good. So focus on keeping the legs bent at a 90-degree, and lower back is pulling down towards the floor. So ribs are down, belly button's pulling in, lower back is on the floor. We'll go 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. Good. We'll switch back to our tabletop position. We'll go dead bugs again, or bird dogs again. Sorry, I just did dead bugs. So tabletop position. Good. And then extending opposite arm and opposite leg out away from each other. Good. Keep a nice neutral spine. Try not to shift the hips too much. Good. Just 2 more each side. 1 and 1. Great. And we'll put the bands on again and go clamshells. So on our sides. Yep, so on our sides. Everything's stacked on top of each other. Top knee is just driving up towards the ceiling. And 1. Good. Switch sides, other side. Good, 2 more. And 1, good. And then we'll be on our backs and glute bridges. Good, squeezing the glutes up towards the ceiling. Make sure your ribs are down, core is engaged the whole time. Good, drive all the way up and then back down. Then we'll go 2 more. 2 and 1, good. Perfect, we'll take the band off and we'll go dead bugs again. So, arms will be up towards the ceiling, legs are bent at a 90-degree, dropping one heel and then switching. Good. Keeping the lower back down, ribs down, core engaged. Good, 2 more. 1 and 1. Perfect, great. Okay, we'll go one more round through these and then that'll be it for exercise. So bird dogs is the first one, so we'll be tabletop position. And then opposite arm and leg extending out away from each other. Good, and just kicking the legs straight back towards the wall. Perfect, 1 more each. And 1, perfect. All right, we'll grab the bands again, clamshells on our sides. Yep, everything's stacked on our sides, and top knee comes up. Good, 2 more. And 1, perfect. We'll switch to the other side. And 1, perfect. And then on our backs, glute bridges. Good, yep, feet about hip width apart. Knees in line with feet, squeezing the glutes up and back down. And good, 5 more. Good, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. And then we'll take the band off and we'll go dead bugs as our last one. Yep. Arms straight up towards the ceiling, legs bent at a 90 degree, and then dropping one heel at a time. Good. Alternating. Good. 2 more each. 2, 2, 1, and 1. Perfect. Good. Go ahead and relax the legs down, and we'll do a couple quick stretches. So we'll start by just pulling one leg up, kind of hugging the knee in towards the chest. The other leg's going to stay straight down, so just hugging that knee in towards the chest. About 10 more seconds here. And 1, good. We'll switch legs. So we'll drop this leg down and then hug the other knee. One more second. And 1, good. And then we're gonna bend this leg, and so we're gonna have one leg bent, and then the other ankle is gonna be on that knee. We're gonna go figure 4 stretch. So one leg's bent, the other ankle is on that knee, and then just kind of pressing that knee away, the one that's bent and on the other knee, or hugging that leg in, wherever you're at. And just breathe into it and relax. Good. 10 more seconds. Good. And then we'll switch legs. So other ankle will go on the opposite knee. Good. And either think about pressing that knee away or hugging the leg in. Good. 10 seconds. 1, good. And then just relax both legs into onto the floor. Legs straight, palms up towards the ceiling, and just relax. Relax your body into the floor. Take a couple deep breaths here. And just take a moment to notice how your body's feeling after moving. And yeah, just take a moment to thank yourself for working today. Moving your body. Great job, you guys. Thank you for being here.